Some of the Gulf of Mexico is on fire. Crews are trying to burn off some of the crude oil spewing across the ocean because of that oil rig explosion last week. It's a radical attempt to keep the oil slick, the size of Jamaica, from traveling closer to shore, poisoning more fish and polluting popular beaches along the coast. And Ryan Owens is there with the very latest. Ryan, I wondered, how do you light a fire on oil and ocean water?
Well, good evening to you, Diana. It's pretty interesting. What they did literally just a few minutes ago is light a float on fire, send it into that oil, and that explodes. Now, as you said, this is sort of a last resort. Nothing else they've tried has really worked, at least not fast enough. And there is so much here at stake. To find out what, we took this boat out into the Gulf to see for ourselves. More than a week after a fiery oil rig explosion caused this spill, the waters of the Gulf of Mexico are on fire again. This time, the flames were intentionally set. Far offshore, crews lit some of the thickest parts of the oil slick ablaze, parts surrounded by fire-resistant booms. The blaze is expected to be as hot as 1,800 degrees. The toxic cloud of smoke, several thousand feet high. The cloud is supposed to dissipate long before it reaches land. As these pictures show, the burn technique on water has been tested before with some success.
It's premature to say this is catastrophic. I will say this is very serious.
British Petroleum, the oil company responsible for the rig, suggested the burn in part because the robots that have been working for days deep underground have been unable to slow the leak.
Activity knows where that oil spill's at.
So as we saw on our trip into the Gulf, crews are furiously laying booms across much of Louisiana's fragile coast. Barrier islands, wildlife sanctuaries, all expected to take a direct hit. We also saw what's at stake when a pair of dolphins surfaced not far from our boat. The Coast Guard says burning all of that oil out here in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico is really the lesser of two evils. Yes, it creates air pollution, but that, they say, is far better than allowing that oil to come ashore.
It's a no-win situation. You know, if we don't do the burn, marine life are going to be exposed to the oil in the ocean for an unknown period of time.
That's all those who live and work along the Gulf Coast can hope. Shrimper Eric Drury just bought a new boat and now worries he may not need it this shrimp season.
Everybody's in the same boat. It's going to hurt everything. Oyster fishermen, everybody.
Some of that very thin layer of oil, the sheen, will in fact make landfall no matter what they do, burning the thicker parts of it. Landfall is expected here in Louisiana late Friday, Mississippi, Alabama, maybe even Florida over the weekend.